What's up, cellar dwellers? Here's Henry. With a big old sticker on his chest. Yep, that's Dan's. We just got done. Now, this took me almost 3 days to watch because of this little guy. This is my first pick in our draft. This is Hobo with a Shotgun, and what a fucking way to end my month of horrors. Fantastic. Basically, there's this, guy, Drake. His name is Drake, and he has what he calls the Drake Show, and he runs this particular town, this particular city by fear. So the movie opens up, and his brother is being thrown into a sewer with like the sewer cap around his neck. He's tossed in there. They call it the glory hole. And they put a chain around his neck and drive off, and his head just pops off, and blood squirts everywhere. And this chick in a bikini starts dancing while his blood's just squirting straight in the air like a fire hydrant. That's how it opens. So they call it the Drake Show, and they run this town, this city. And they basically kill hobos by like smashing their head between bumper cars, pulling their heads off, beating them with like razor blade bats and all sorts of stuff. And this one hobo, he doesn't have a name. His name is Hobo the entire movie. He gets sick of it. And at one point, one of the sons, Ivan and Slick are their names. Slick is like the favorite son. Basically tries to rape a young prostitute, and the hobo sees it and saves her. Saves her from Slick, and then at this point, Slick, Ivan, and Drake are now going specifically after this hobo. So, Hobo runs into this guy that like takes video of hobos by like, paying them to do stupid shit. The guy pays him to eat glass and smash stuff over his head. He takes that money and he buys a shotgun. And at this point, he starts going after all the bad guys and killing everyone and just shooting them with the shotgun. And then eventually he runs into Slick, and he shoots him in the dick for trying to rape the prostitute. And then he gets captured by what is called the Plague, which are like these two guys dressed in like metal suits. And they're like super strong and fast, and they know martial arts, and they end up capturing the hobo. And then as they're going to put Hobo in the glory hole to kill him towards the end of the movie, and the prostitute, after almost getting her head chopped off, comes out of the hospital and suddenly creates like all of this stuff, like a spinning blade and a shotgun. She chops it off and puts an axe on the end of it. She gets all of this, these magical experience points for creating this stuff, and she goes to save the hobo. So she ends up with her little magical blade showing up where the hobo is in the glory hole while all the city is surrounding and watching. She creates enough of a diversion where she kills one of the guys on the Plague. She cuts off Ivan's hand, and his dad's like, I don't fucking need you. Slick was my favorite son anyway, and pops him in the head. And now, she gets pissed, and she gets her hand cut off by her own blade, and she takes her stub. She starts stabbing Drake to death, and then she gets the hobo out. The hobo is surrounded by the cops who are corrupt because Drake owns them, and they're like, fucking drop your weapon, hobo, or we'll kill you, you piece of shit. And then the entire city points their guns at the cops, and the hobo looks at Drake, who's on the ground, and says, we're taking a ride to hell together, and you'll take shotgun. Shoots him in the face, all the cops shoot the hobo, and then all the people, the city, just shoot at the cops. Okay, so that probably doesn't make a lot of sense. Basically, the hobo saves the day, right? He kills the bad guy, the guy that runs the city. The gore in this is fucking unreal. The amount of blood and not even just like bloody gore, like how fucked up this movie is. Like people just being hanged, and heads being chopped off, and blood spurting, and swords going all the way through people and blood spurting, and when like people get shot, like their guts open, and like there's parts where like they're like feeling around in the guts. Like some real grotesque moments where I'm actually like cringing, not because like the movie really evokes any emotion where you're like tense or anything. It's just fucking gross, and they did a really good job at being gross about their gore. A lot of headshots, a lot of heads exploding. A head, I mentioned it earlier, being smashed between two bumper cars that have like these steel plates attached. So they two bumper cars smash the dude's head and it pops. It was probably a watermelon. Pops like a watermelon. And like I said, I watched this over 3 days, 2.5 days, so I can't remember it all. But this movie was fucking brutal. It was an awesome way to end the month of horrors. It was a ton of fun to watch. The entire cast totally leans into the campiness of it. Everything's way overboard. The acting, just everything is way overboard. And like the way they do like camera angles and stuff, like when the guys are yelling or really intense, it's like, oh. So yeah, fun movie. I definitely suggest that everyone see this. If you don't like gore, definitely not your movie. I'm gonna give this one an 8. I had a ton of fun with it, and yeah, Month of Horrors is done. Thank God. Bye.